Happy Odin's Day. I want to talk about returning to Wayland Smithy. On Monday, I had the opportunity to revisit Wayland Smithy. I was in the area and I had a decision to make. One which, I could have gone to the West Kennet Long Barrow. And I did want to go there. I do want to go there. However, I might have got into trouble with my wife and my friends if I'd gone there by myself without them. So that's for another time. And it was important to me to revisit Wayland Smithy as I'd planned to go there last month. We'd made plans to camp and stay in the area for a week or just short of a week for the summer solstice and to investigate the whole area as a group. Sadly, my injury prevented this from happening, so returning to Wayland Smithy was almost a matter of upholding an agreement I'd sort of made with myself, with the location, with the site, to go back there as I'd intended. And that was, deeply in my mind when I found myself happening to be in the area for work. I have to say, and if you've seen the videos from last year, the weather was not kind last year. So I was bemused that upon seeing the Ridgeway going to work and seeing in the distance the white horse, that it was at that point it started to rain that day. So that was amusing. I mean, it's just sort of, nature has its way, and it is undeniable. Obviously, it eased off a bit once I'd finished work and could go and visit the site. And there were some other decisions to make, because previously the track you have to walk along to get to Wayland Smithy last year certainly wasn't. It was a bit muddy, and I have to take into consideration that as I'm still in a stage of recovery, albeit the latter stages of recovery, a significant walk by myself is something I have to acknowledge. And respect. I don't want it to hold me back, but I also have to consider that there could be some uncomfortable terrain for me to sort of overcome. So I'd put my boots on. Fortunately, however, it hasn't been that much rain there, so the pathway was good. It was pretty solid. It wasn't saturated or muddy in any way, so it was quite a pleasant walk. My video from yesterday, I sort of made the remark about, of course, it was raining, and then walked to Wayland Smithy and had a different time there. And I have to say that it is different because this time I was by myself rather than with heathens of Kent. And I think when you're by yourself, your solo presence in such a strong area is always going to be remarkably different to if you're there in a group and you're interacting with friends in that area, as opposed to, you know, being by yourself and looking around and taking in more details in a different way. It's neither better nor worse. I am glad I went there by myself. I am glad that I went there first with friends, and neither as a group or as an individual is one better than the other. I was alarmed to see a tree that I'd kind of found to be quite fascinating had been cut down, though I think that was probably due to rot and the general unhealthiness of the tree. And there's something that ties into that that's kind of for another video. Just, you know, there's a sign there asking people not to gouge their names or runes into the trees because you damage these ancient trees, and that's bad. You know, you can acknowledge your presence at this site without damaging trees. Damaging trees is not good. And now, you know, there are multiple trees with gouges in them where people have thought it's really cool to leave their name there, or, you know, make a statement of oi. It's not good. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't damage these ancient trees. Looking around and just being one, you know, individual in such a powerful area, it's easy to be sort of less intrusive, so that you can focus more on some of the little details and look around. And after a couple had been there, and they did something which, you know, now on two vids I've not done, which is they've sort of gone over the little stone that kind of bars the entry into the entranceway to the barrow, and gone to look in. And I think it's for the individual to make the decision, but for me, I don't feel a need to step into that particular part of the barrow. That's something for me needs to be respected. I've been on top of it, you know. When we was there last year, we did a small ritual, an offering. That's clearly what the top of the barrow is designed for. The entranceway, I feel, is a little bit different. So this couple, they spent 5-10 minutes there, and then they went, and I was once more alone there. And this was when I sort of shot the video that's attached to what I put up yesterday. But obviously I sat there longer by myself and just soaked in the area. I'm not sure there's anything else to say. I just breathed it in and let myself be enjoy the moment, just sort of be in the moment, be there, and just try and, I don't know, feel what's going on there, if anything is going on there at all. That's very much an individual experience, and I felt something. Almost like, I would say, an acknowledgement of my presence being there, and that there is something there. but in the ideals of hospitality and reciprocity. It was like a acknowledgement, something to be worked on another visit at a later date, to do what we'd planned to do this year, really. I pretty much ended my time there after taking many photos and looking at the stones, with a thank you, and taking my leave, and to then try and digest what I experienced, how I feel about being there, and to go forward. It's very much, something of coming to terms with my own journey, and relatable to last year and everything that's happened since my last visit there to visiting there now. That, it's been a year, it's been a challenging journey. And I don't have, answers. I just have thoughts and trying to make sense of it, if there is anything to make sense of at all. Other than, at this stage, feels very much like a need to increase. No, that doesn't sound right. It's just respect for what has been, respect for our part in the present, and respecting a path into the future. And I think underlying sort of the beauty of the site and its incredible historic value, that respect in the modern age needs to do better. These sites need to be preserved. They need to be accessible. And yet, if people can't respect the site, then what are the options realistically? Do you put big security barriers around there, prevent people having access to it? No. That should not be the option. If people can't behave, though, to coin a phrase, this is why we can't have nice things. And as a site, it's something we need. It's imperative to the continuation of life, this ability to reflect and to be awed by the mystery of the past. Ultimately, it's a site, if you can, go visit for yourself and make your own decisions about it. It's a beautiful location, highly worth visiting. And just respect, what we have around us, even if you have to do a little bit of digging to find it. Because some of these places, they don't get promotion. You have to know that these locations are out there, and to feel their significance. Anyway, enough rambling. They are my thoughts on revisiting Wayland, Smithy, and will go back there. There are things to do there, and if you go there, don't gouge things into the trees. Please do not do that. Thank you. Goodbye. Set up.